Hello, Jill. How are you? Hi, Jules. How are you guys doing today? Hi, Andrea. Hey, Jill.
Hello.
Are you alive?
Yep, sure am.
Good.
I have a basement, so I'm all right. I actually have a room that you could go to as well.
Yeah, I did too. How bad was the storm?
It was pretty bad, but it wasn't. We didn't need to go to the basement.
Any damage?
No, it does, well, not that I know of yet. I haven't gone out there and looked at anything.
Yeah, that's good. Good deal. Lots of storms. Yes. Hi, everyone on YouTube. Jay, Andrea. What is that? Art, Matt. Thank you for joining. Amanda, Brian, Sister, Country. How's everyone doing today? Not from the 51st state. Exactly. Live on YouTube and TikTok today on this beautiful Sunday afternoon, where I live anyway. Not where you live, but where I live. Thank you so much for the gifts. I have a live goal up here. Also, please don't forget to gift the moderator. Do I live near El Reno? I live west of El Reno, about an hour. Hi, Pito. How are you? Thank you guys so much. Quick announcement to start the show. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, I'll be interviewing the news girl, Lisa Remillard, on my YouTube channel. If you want to see it, you have to watch it on my YouTube. It's not going to be on TikTok. That's 2 p.m. Central. Sort of a getting to know you type of interview. I'm going to try to get through it pretty quickly to allow people in the chat to maybe ask some questions if they want to. 2 p.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, not Pacific, 12 Pacific, 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. Oh, man. What a day. I want to show you guys something. Jill,
Yes.
you see this picture of this man on my YouTube here?
Hold on, because YouTube runs a little behind.
Okay, well, give it just a minute. A Peruvian man was found after 95 days lost at sea. He survived on rainwater, bugs, birds, and a turtle. And it was a pretty interesting story. But the thing that I found kind of strange about it is look at this guy. Does he look like he's been at sea for 95 days?
No.
So they're saying it's completely possible that this picture is from CNN, and they're saying that this is him receiving medical care like when they picked him up. 95 days lost at sea, and this dude does not have a single hair on his face. He is as clean shaven as I am. And when I saw the picture, I thought, I was expecting to see someone that looked like Wilson from Castaway, or not Wilson, Tom Hanks from Castaway. And it's this. You think he's had a shave? You think they got it wrong? Or do you
Yeah.
or do you think it's a scam?
Well, don't you think?
Would they shave his face before they give him medical care? I don't.
I don't understand. Is he scamming them or are they scamming us?
I don't know. Yeah, he certainly looks more like Wilson than Tom Hanks here because he's pretty smooth. But yeah. But another thing I noticed, his clothes are clean too. So, was he cleaned up, or CNN get it wrong? I mean, it is CNN.
I don't know.
But
it's weird. It's very weird.
The story says, this is them giving him medical care, like when they got him out of the water. And I'm just like, I don't think so, bro. Oh, man.
I'm like confused by it because the more I look at the picture, the more I'm like, I don't understand what's going on here.
Everyone wants to know what the shirt says. Why did my mic went dead? Can y'all hear me now? My mic went dead for some reason. I don't know what happened to my mic. Okay, Jill, I just sent you the picture.
I'm gonna go get that.
I had to unplug it and plug it back in. I don't know what happened to my mic. Piece of shit. Oh, man. Jill's going to put the picture up. So this is a person that was rescued from 95 days at sea. He's a Peruvian man on a fishing boat. He got caught up in a storm, and he was rescued. And this was the first picture they took of him. They're giving him medical care right after they got him out of the water. And he is completely clean shaven. Did he have a razor on the boat? Did he have a razor on the boat? Like, I don't know what's happening here. But no, they're not going to deport him because he wasn't picked up by the United States. He was on a fishing boat. He got caught up in a storm and swept out to sea. And they've been looking for him 95 days. But he's clean shaven, and so.
Well, was he still on the boat whenever he was found?
Yes.
Well, maybe he has stuff in there that he was taking care of himself with.
I don't know. Yeah, I noticed his clothes were clean too, but I don't know, what all he had on the boat.
Right.
I mean, it's a fishing boat. Maybe if they go out for days or weeks at a time, but he said he survived on rainwater. He collected rainwater on the boat. He ate bugs, birds, and a turtle, is what he says. So if he ate a turtle, he had some tools for sure.
Yes.
You can't tear a turtle apart. So. Oh, man. The Democratic Party's approval rating is at 29%. It's at a 5 or 6 year low. I don't remember. This is why I don't like polls. They come out and tell us the Democratic Party approval rating is 29%. But I know if there was an election going on that all the people that aren't approving of the Democrats, at least the Democrats, would vote for the Democrats. Right?
Absolutely. I'm sure they would.
That's a great question, Papa. Papa says, if it's a fishing boat, why didn't he eat fish?
Right.
I mean, oh my gosh. Well, they're giving the man medical care, and they're saying, this is him. They got him out of the water. They got him off the boat, and this is, they're giving him medical care here. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. I mean, it seems like if you're going to get lost at sea, being on a fishing boat would be a good thing.
I agree to that because you can fish, right?
Right. Why didn't he just go fishing? Why is he eating birds?
Bugs. And where did he get the turtle? If he's lost at sea, like way out there in the sea.
Maybe he snagged it. Maybe he snagged the turtle with a fishing pole.
But he couldn't snag a fish?
I don't know. One of those mysteries. I agree, Ryan. I do not approve of either party. Oh, man. It does. It does sound fishy.
And then someone said, how did he catch the bird? Well, maybe the bird landed and he whacked it.
Maybe he had a window and the bird flew into a window or something. I don't know. Maybe he fed the birds with I don't know, something laced with Benadryl or Sudafed or something. I don't know. Maybe he poisoned them. I don't.
Oh my God.
It's just an odd story. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, Amanda says he ate the bait. Why don't you just eat the bait? You're on a fishing boat. You got bait.
Yeah, because maybe the bait was the bugs, right?
This is kind of a similar story. Not exactly, but kind of. The thing about this story is the odds of this happening have got to be astronomical. Like the odds of this happening got to be in the billions. The body of a woman was caught in a fishing net off the coast of Massachusetts. Okay? Body of a woman caught in a fishing net off the coast of Massachusetts, 40 miles offshore. This was an embalmed body that they had done a burial at sea. And they caught the body in fishing nets 40 miles offshore. Now, the thing that I find really odd about it is, what are the odds that you're going to snag like a 5 foot, 5.5 foot, this is a woman, 60-year-old woman, body on the bottom of the ocean with a fishing net? They could have been out there for 100 years with nets looking for this person and never found it.
Well, she was meant to be found, apparently. Because that is, yeah. I mean, when people do things that, I was putting it on TikTok, harm others, and then throw them out to sea or throw them into somewhere where they think they won't ever be found, but they're found, right? You always get caught.
Yeah.
Somebody always gets caught.
Okay, but you're 40 miles offshore.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about it from all the directions someone could go, like the number of square miles is insane. Because you could be 50 miles north or south of where you were. Like, we're talking, it's got to be millions of square miles when you're that far away.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought the odds, and I don't think there's any way of calculating those odds. I took data-driven statistics in college, but I don't think there's any way to determine the probability of that. It's got to be in the billions. It's got to be in the billions. Brian says he watched a video of the fisherman reuniting with his brother. Did he look clean cut like this, or did he look different? Man, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. As learning Canadian, can Canada charge a surcharge on U.S. oil just like electricity? Canada needs to hit back hard. Just need your thought. Yes, Canada can absolutely charge a surcharge on their oil. They can charge an export tax or a surcharge or any kind of fee they decide. They can absolutely do that. The thing is, Western Canadian Select oil right now, it's like $56 a barrel or something. So Canada could actually put a fairly significant surcharge on that oil and we would still buy it because it would still be cheaper than the alternative. The alternative is over $70. It also makes me wonder, why hasn't Canada just put this surcharge on their oil this whole time? They could have just tacked $5 onto every barrel if they wanted to, And we still would have bought it because it still would have been the cheapest oil out there. Good question. Is it Echo? Thank you so much for the super chat. Brian said he didn't look as clean cut, but he looked all right. So maybe this was him. Getting medical care later somewhere else. But yeah, Echo, Canada can do whatever they want with what goes out of their country as far as tacking on surcharges, fees, export taxes. They can do whatever they want. They can do whatever they want. I did a little digging this morning. So, I brought this up yesterday. In February, in response to Trump's sanctions on Iran exported more oil in February than they had in 77 months. 77 months is what, 6 years, 6.5 years almost? So that was their response. They just export more. The reason I bring this up is, one, it also would have contributed to lower oil prices. But this could also be an escalation of that. And then when you tie that to what happened in Yemen last night, the Houthis came out today and said they responded and shot a bunch of ballistic missiles at one of our subs or ships or something. And they were like, no, that's not a thing. They haven't shot anything at us. But the Houthis do that all the time. They claim they attacked something they didn't attack, right? So we'll see what happens. We'll see how all that escalates. But, the reason I'm talking about this is going to impact oil prices moving forward. And the more it escalates, the more it'll impact oil prices. And the less it escalates, the less it'll impact oil prices. So keeping an eye on this. Because, if this kind of pops off or something, then we could see significant jumps in oil prices. I don't think that's going to happen, but it doesn't hurt to be looking at it for sure. Jill, are you ready for tomorrow? I've got.
I am ready for tomorrow. I'm a little nervous, but I'm ready.
It'll be fine. I've got all my questions prepared for the news girl. Everything is ready to go. Hope we don't have any technical difficulties. This seems to happen sometimes when we bring somebody in the YouTube live as technical difficulties.
That's where I'm like, oh man, this is going to cause an issue. I know it.
The price of gold this morning hit $3,012. I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure that's a record. I'm pretty sure that's a record. Sounds like a record. Oh, man. So, hi, Heather. Maybe this, maybe this fisherman thing isn't a thing. I just thought it was really strange that he looked so clean cut and clean. And the reason it threw me off is in the story from CNN. They're like, this is when he was receiving medical care when they rescued him. And I'm like,
So, Naughty, I'm sorry. He's not taking guest requests.
So Art says he looked up ethnicities that can or cannot grow facial hair. I had no idea this was a thing. Art says it is a thing. Hawaiian, North American Indians, and a few others have little or no facial hair. This guy is Peruvian. Now, I don't grow hardly any facial hair at all either, but I still grow some. I have to shave like once a week. That guy looks clean shaven to me. Echo says that is a record gold price. Can you ask the news girl if she has a strategy on how to expand truthful news versus the dominance? Yeah. I have a question very similar to that. That is part of one of the things I wanted to talk to her about. So we will be touching on that. Brian said he has facial hair in the video that he watched. So that means he was shaved at some point.
Well, that would make more sense, but
that takes me back to my original suspicion was that CNN got it wrong.
yeah, that isn't right when they took him off the boat. Then.
Yeah, it wasn't right when they took him off the boat. Couldn't be. Did you see his forehead?
Oh, God.
That's why his clothes are clean.
Oh, my God. Stop.
What? Oh, man. I am such an asshole sometimes.
Now you sound like me.
I do, yeah. Well, I'm supposed to. How long do you think it'll be before we see the effects of the tariffs at retail? Well, so the first thing that needs to happen is the tariffs have to actually be implemented. So they keep getting delayed, but there are a couple of tariffs in place. If I remember correctly, the steel and aluminum is still in place. But when you see the effects of the at retail will be immediately. It will be immediately because retailers will take advantage and they will charge that 25% markup even on the goods that they didn't have to pay a tariff for because they can. So you'll see it immediately. Now with a commodity, that's different, but on a retail good, on something that has a set price that isn't traded on an exchange, you'll see that immediately. But commodity, you take a little bit longer to fully realize the inflation, right? Why is this guy on global screen? Euphonic, this is a Peruvian fisherman that had just been rescued after 95 days at sea. I pulled his picture up expecting to see someone that looks like Castaway or Tom Hanks, and he was clean shaven. So we're having a discussion about how he's clean shaven after 95 days at sea. But it appears that CNN got this story wrong because the reason I'm curious about it is because CNN was saying that this picture was like right when they pulled him out of the boat. But Brian over here says he saw a video where the guy had hair on his face. So this picture, it must have been taken later. Maybe he got back to land and they were giving him further medical care and it happened on land. I'm not sure, but CNN got the story wrong, obviously. Shocker. So they won't wait until the present stock is depleted. No, not on retail goods. They won't. They'll do it immediately. And the reason they'll do it immediately is because they know everyone else will do it. That's exactly what they're going to do. They're just going to say, well, they're going to mark theirs up. I'm going to go ahead and mark mine up. And everyone will just do it. That's just human nature. They just will.
Thank you, everyone, for the gifts. I did not see that.
Damn, Jill.
Thank you very much.
Jill got hooked up. Aluminum takes a lot of power. The U.S. had over 30 foundries, and they're down to 4. Alcoa has a lot of production in Canada. Foundries take 4 times as much power. Yeah, the whole we don't need anything from Canada thing is just stupidity. I had to hear about the Keystone XL for the entire Biden administration. How us not having more oil from Canada, how we needed it so bad, how he was destroying the country, and suddenly we just don't need any oil from Canada. We literally had lawsuits over the Keystone XL. But now we don't need it. We never needed it. Yeah, we absolutely need their lumber. The tariffs on lumber during the first administration is what started the home prices spiking in the United States. Thank you, DPD. As a Canadian, the stores are already moving American-made items off of prime shelf space. I've seen a lot of videos of American-made goods in Canada just piling up in Canadian stores. Just nobody's buying it. I've seen quite a bit of that. best blueprint for Canada's energy infrastructure. They just need a couple more pipelines going to the coasts. I mean, that's what they need. They need a couple more pipelines, or one great big pipeline. If they build a 48-inch pipeline, they wouldn't need two. Just build a big one to start with. You don't need another one. So, New Strain says the story is from LA Republica. CNN took their story verbatim from them and Reuters. Yeah, a lot of people do that. They just reprint or repost other people's stories, and I hate it when they do that. Where will the American people feel this the most? Well, they're going to feel it. The thing is, this has a ripple effect. You know, when we talk about tariffs on certain goods, it's not just those goods, as we've seen with what's happened with the stock market. You know, I mean, hell, we might enter a damn recession. So, I mean, I don't think we can say with any certainty where Americans would feel it the most at this point, because it has an impact on so many things. But I think it's safe to say that Americans will feel it the most with whatever goods they purchase the most, right? Is it feasible to start utilizing railway for oil transportation out east? I would. So I would say no, just because the cost to ship oil by rail, and then plus the distance. If you're going from Alberta all the way to the East Coast, the cost to ship oil by rail is astronomical. Like, it really is. And ideally, you only do it when you absolutely have to. And you only ship it to the nearest point where you can transport it the rest of the way somewhere else. Like, a lot of the oil that travels by rail is literally just traveling to a spot where it can be transferred to a pipeline or some other way. Rail is about the worst way to ship oil. It's almost the worst way to ship oil. So I don't think it's at all feasible, especially with oil at $55, $56 in Canada. I don't think it's feasible for them to rail oil all the way to the East Coast. Honestly, I don't even know if they have the capabilities to do that. But you're talking about, with the distance and the amount of oil they need to get to the East Coast, you're talking about a lot of trains. Like, we're not talking about a couple of trains. You're talking about a lot of trains with a lot of cars. I don't think it's feasible.
So I'm ready for my $5,000 savings on energy.
Are you?
Yes, I am so ready for that.
Yeah, you're going to save $5,000. By the way, a lot of people said they don't even spend that much now.
I don't even spend anywhere near that, but I'm ready for that, for them to give me money. Okay?
Yeah, that's what they're wondering, if they're actually going to get their utilities for free and get a check.
Yes, that's what I'm ready for.
That pipeline is so great that they're going to pay you to use it.
Yes. I don't know who he thought he was talking to. Like, who has a over $5,000 electric bill every month? Who has that?
Well, if they don't have it now, they're going to have it. It's not every month, it's a year.
I mean, a year, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So over $400 a month. And I know there's a lot of people up there whose bills are over $400 a month for utilities, but there's no like, you have to be in, You, I can't even describe how dumb it is to say someone's going to save $5,000 a year on their utility bills because of a pipeline.
Right, it is dumb. And my electric bill was $82, like 81 something, right? It was almost $82. My gas bill was like 110 or something. I can't even remember. It wasn't even that high. That's not $400.
They're going to owe you money. They're going to pay you.
Yes, I'm ready for that. I am so ready for that. He better get that pipeline up and running. Is it called the Keystone? Because it's through Pennsylvania.
Oh man! Not to mention the fact that the gas that would be going through that pipeline is more expensive than the gas they're currently receiving from Canada.
Well,
Twice as expensive almost.
great.
So this pipeline is so great, even though what's going through it is twice as expensive as the thing you're buying now, you're still going to save money. Echo, thank you so much for the super chat. We supply 85% of the U.S. potash. I've heard some people say potash. I call it potash. Does anyone know how we're supposed to say potash? Is it potash or potash? Anyway. Man, we supply 85% of the U.S. potash, and your farmers cannot live without it. Do you eat? That's our next target. Your opinion? Yeah, I made a video about this about a week ago, I believe. And I'm trying to remember these stats off the top of my head. I think Canada holds, I think it's roughly, basically Canada is the Middle East of potash. Canada's like the Middle East of potash. Like they control, I think it's over 40% of the entire world's potash. And the vast majority of the potash that we get comes from Canada. And I made a video about this a while back. The other two main countries, or other three countries that have the most, are Russia, China, and I can't remember if it was. I think it was Hungary. The potash is definitely a leverage point or tool for Canada. And I also read that the United States from the beginning has been asking for Canada to leave the potash alone. So from the very beginning, they've been negotiating that Canada always gives an exception to the potash, which means like they understand and like everyone is fully aware of what Canada could do with the potash, basically.
Everyone except Trump.
But Belarus, yes, Belarus, not Hungary, Belarus. Yeah, but Canada, I mean, they have something there because, like I said, they're literally the Middle East of potash. They control as much of the world's potash as the Middle East controls of the world's oil. So, Mr. Global, are you Canadian? No, I'm from Oklahoma. I'm not I'm not Canadian.
He just supports Canada.
Yeah, I think this whole thing is, I hate to say it because I say it all the time, it's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. It literally is. Alucia says the other potash is taken up by other markets, so Canada is the only place the U.S. can get it from besides their own domestic production. Yeah, that's something I read too, that it'd be very difficult to get it from anyone else.
So, to the mods down in the chat, if somebody requests, please leave them sit there. I will handle it because the last time I brought someone up, and yeah, because when you exile someone else is Xing out. You invite, right? So let's not do that. Just leave them sit there and I'll deal with them. Thanks.
Oh man. I should vacation in Canada. I actually went to Canada this summer. I went to, where did I go? I went to Canada when I went to Alaska. I went to Victoria. That's where I went. Beautiful. Victoria's beautiful. Um, is it true that besides the United States, only Spain is capable of refining our oil from Canada? No, that's not true. There's a lot of countries that can refine your oil, and you got to keep in mind that the oil that flows through the Trans Mountain Pipeline, it's not exactly what they're producing. It's either got a diluent in it or it's upgraded. So it's not, and that's one of the problems is people picture tar sands oil going into a refinery. That's not really what's happening. It doesn't flow. This stuff it's upgraded. It's got diluent in it. It's not the product that they pull out of the ground when they export it. That's what I'm saying. When I was in Victoria, I was so impressed with Victoria, I actually started looking at houses. But I didn't look very long because they're really proud of their real estate in Victoria. I was like, nope. Maybe we get something 20 miles outside of town. Maybe 30 miles outside of town. Man, Victoria was expensive. I went and looked at this tiny little house, like a little bungalow. I can't remember how much it cost. It was insane. But I mean, I kind of expected it to be expensive because I had been around the city and kind of seen the city, and like, so I was under no illusions it would be cheap. Just by looking at the city of Victoria, it was obvious to me the real estate was going to be pricey. Rob says $1 million gets you just above a shack. Pretty much, yeah. Do I know about or have opinions about your next prime minister? Not really. I don't know that much. Don't really have an opinion. Are you talking about Carney? Yeah, I don't know that much about him. Really, the only thing I know about Carney is that he's in the Liberal Party. That's literally like all I know about him. Do you see what is happening in Argentina? I've not seen what's happening in Argentina. Hello, Lorianne. Thank you for joining today. An American cannot buy a house in Canada? I have no idea. I don't know if there's something preventing an American from buying a house in Canada. I have no idea. You can buy one tomorrow? I'm not seeing anything happening in Argentina, so I'm not sure what you're talking about. Mr. Global, in the end, with your education and career, they would give you citizenship here fairly easy if that's what is required of buying a house. Oh.
The only thing I can see on in is that they have their hands full with China's illegal fishing. That's
I saw that, but I didn't figure anybody would be talking about that. Like, I didn't think that would be a.
I didn't think it would be anything that would be, yeah. That's all I see too.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you for the gifts. If you want to immigrate to Canada, they want someone to have some sort of degree. I have a degree. But I don't necessarily want to immigrate. I was just wanting a house, like, to go hang out in during the summer months until I saw how much they cost. Then I was like, yeah, I don't need one that bad. Once we see Permian production declining, the Canadian oil sands will increase in importance. That's absolutely true. And there's a lot of experts and analysts out there that are saying that U.S. shale is in its twilight. I haven't bought into that theory yet, but there's a lot of sort of agreement and consolidation around the idea that U.S. shale is actually peaking. But I don't subscribe to that yet. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying I haven't seen enough to be convinced of it. It is 1,000% possible. I will say that. It is absolutely possible. Do I believe this has anything to do with Trump just wanting Canada's oil, water, or shorelines? I don't think Donald Trump even knows what he really wants. I I honestly think that he just likes to be in these back and forths with other countries. He knows that his base like eats this up, and it consolidates his people, and they love it when he's fighting with other countries. And I don't think Donald Trump even has a good grasp of what he wants out of this, other than to make his voters happy. Because it has nothing to do with the economy. It has nothing to do, like all this tariffs and how great they are for economy and how we're going to be rich. That's a crock of shit. Nobody believes that. Donald Trump doesn't even believe that. So I guess we'll see. No matter what happens, he's going to claim some type of victory, and that's ultimately what he wants to be able to do, is claim he beat somebody, right? And yes, Donald Trump would absolutely run this country into a recession if he got to put a feather in his hat and say he beat somebody at something. He doesn't care about that. He doesn't care at all about that. Why would he care? He's a billionaire. He don't care.
So we have 81 people on YouTube. You can probably make your announcement.
81 people on YouTube. Tomorrow at 2 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, I'm interviewing the news girl on my YouTube channel. That's Mr. Global on YouTube. I have the same profile picture on YouTube that I have on TikTok. Interviewing the news girl live tomorrow, 2 p.m. That's 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 o'clock Pacific, 1 o'clock Mountain. Yeah, tomorrow I'll be doing that. I've been seeing a lot of concerning looking data lately about the Permian Basin and U.S. shale overall, but I need to see more before I throw my opinion in that mix. Is Trump just using the tariff speak to devalue the stock market, lower the rates, and lower gas prices? It's possible. If that's what he's doing, it's a really stupid idea. Because it'll absolutely have a boomerang effect. Hi, Mavis. Are there any new deposits in Texas? Not really. I would love to have your shirt, but need to find a Canadian supplier. I'm not going to tell you these shirts are made in Canada, because how this works is these orders are sent out to printers all over the country. And there's printers in the United States, and there's printers in Canada. And I know, what did we look at? In Ontario? Some of these shirts will come from Ontario, but they won't all come from Ontario. So I'm not going to tell you they're made in Canada, because I don't know where they're going to be made. I never know where they're going to be made.
Yes, Joe ordered one, and it was made somewhere in Canada. I'm not sure where though.
I think it was Ontario. But the interesting thing about that, one thing I noticed, because Joe said her shirt was made in Ontario, right? I went and looked at her order, and she was still charged for international shipping.
Really?
Yeah. That's what the shirt says. Oops, sorry about that. And Jill, I also, where can you get this shirt? On my homepage on TikTok, on my main page, there's a link in my bio to a Shopify store. That's where you can get all my shirts. Some of these shirts, I added thanks to the back of the shirt, Jill.
Okay.
Because some people said you should put thanks on the back of it because I always say thanks.
Yes.
So you can get these with or without the thanks on the back now. Special shout out to Mike. We discuss your take on and your videos about the global market. Thank you, Mike Ross.
I like the thanks on the back. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I put it on like, I don't know, a few different shirts. I put them on the V-necks for sure. I remember that. Hi, Jobu. You out running around in your new Tesla today? Yeah, Seth. I had a ton of requests for that, and I added it last night because I didn't think of it, when I first designed the shirts. So. Where's my other shirt? If I could figure out how to get to this damn background, every time I go live on TikTok, it changes my options. It is driving me batty. Bam, there's a background right there. Let's see here. There we go. This is also a shirt that's on my store. It's the new shirt that I made last night. I kind of like this shirt. I like the kind of distressed flag look. This was also requested by people. So people send me messages and ask me, hey, can you make something that looks like this? And I try to do it. I'm not a professional t-shirt designer. But yeah, this one's pretty cool too.
So Joe was quite upset that she's seen that one.
Was she?
She already ordered the other one, and she really wants that one now. So she was quite upset, yes.
Oh, man. Cucking for Carney? No, I mean, people ask for something and I try to give it to them. I don't have any idea what that has to do with Carney. Do you think Wyoming will ever produce their oil sands? Yeah, Seth, I have a store on my YouTube channel. If you go to my homepage, you can find my store and all my shirts are on there. I don't think Wyoming will work on their tar sands. Yes, I'm working on a Sunday. I can't tell whether or not I'm impressed by your support of Canada or if this is a side hustle. I'm doing what people have asked me to do. People have been asking me to make t-shirts for over a year, and I finally got around to doing it. So all of this is at the request of my followers. If people hadn't asked me to do this, I would have never got around to doing it.
Yes, trust me, it took a lot to get him to do it. And then when people were asking him what to put on it, that's what he did. So it took forever to get him to even make a shirt. This is definitely not a side hustle. If it was, he would have did it a long time ago.
I asked for a Mr. Global Loves Jobu shirt and still haven't gotten it. Yeah, that's not a thing.
How about Joe Boo loves Mr. Global?
I mean, if you get one, it will say that's not a thing on it. You know that, right? You want me to send a link to this to the older millennial? Is that what you were saying? Bob's not getting a shirt. No, Bob's not getting a shirt. Chocolate milk and black coffee are now banned. Where's that at? Chocolate milk ain't banned at my house. I can tell you that.
It's not banned here either, and drinking it with a spoon is legal as well.
Yeah, and recommended. If you don't sip your chocolate milk out of a spoon, I don't even know what you're doing with your life. It's insane.
It's the only way to do it.
I wonder if I could find Bob's address and send him a shirt.
Drill, baby, drill. That's not a thing.
No.
Yes.
It's gonna be
send him that one.
it's gonna be a special shirt just for Bob.
Jeez. Gas prices are down. That's not a thing. God, you gotta do that one too.
D, you never heard of using a spoon? Let me make my case for using a spoon to drink chocolate milk. So when I drink chocolate milk, I don't drink chocolate milk because I'm thirsty. I drink chocolate milk because I want to taste chocolate. And if you use a spoon, you can get roughly 120 or so teaspoons out of a glass of chocolate milk. That means you get to taste chocolate 120 times, right? That's why I drink my chocolate milk with a spoon. I dip the spoon in there and I sip it out of the spoon. Because I'm not drinking it because I'm thirsty. It's because I want some chocolate. So why in the world would I have a glass with like 4 drinks, taste chocolate maybe 4 or 5 times when I could use a spoon and taste chocolate 120 times? I'm telling you, if you try it, you will love it. I've been doing this for years. And everyone that sees me do it thinks I'm crazy, but they don't get it. And also, Jill is the only other person I know that does it too.
Yes, I absolutely love it that way.
Yeah, it's totally a thing. Well, I mean, the thing about a straw is you tend to drink more through a straw too. Like maybe if we could invent a straw that just trapped a little bit of like a spoonful of chocolate in the tip of it, right? Like it had two barrels in it.
I was curious if the metal straws would work. Just take little sips.
Yeah, you could just bite your straw unless you had a metal straw. But
Yeah, but it's the metal.
yeah,
It's the metal that, yes. You know I'm right. It's the metal, too.
Motion detected at front door.
what the hell?
Let me mute her.
Did you teach her how to say whatever?
No, I have not done that yet. I have to do that.
Jobu says you only get 72 teaspoons out of an 8-ounce glass. Who the hell uses 8-ounce glasses? Who does that? That's not normal. I don't drink out of my kid's glass.
I like metal straws too, homie.
I don't have a Snoopy glass I drink out of. Add a little cinnamon to your chocolate milk. I've never done that.
Me neither. It sounds good. Yes, that's Bob at my front door. He found me.
Yeah. Bob is at your house to tell you gas prices are down today
Yes.
by 0.2 cents.
Bob could be my neighbor. Like, honestly, he might be.
Yes, Jobu uses sippy cups. Jobu says only 119 teaspoons out of a 20-ounce glass. That's, yeah. But the reason I said 120 is because you never get a full teaspoon in a teaspoon. You lose a little bit. Also, that's how many I counted. Yes, I literally counted it.
Jim wants to know, is this live?
No, this isn't live. This is a recording.
I'm so glad I told you that because that's what I was going to say. I did not want to do it.
I was reading it right as you said it. I was going to say it anyway, so.
Well, I wanted to say it.
Headline tomorrow, chocolate milk prices skyrocket. As Mr. Global tells the world about drinking it out of a spoon. My dad counted the tiles in every bathroom he ever sat in. Really? I've never done that.
Okay, I've never done that either.
I'm going to have to... Dude, I'm going to be in my fucking bathroom later counting the tiles.
Oh no, I have a lot of tiles.
It's like an earworm, but it's more of a tile counting worm.
I don't want to count my tiles.
Are crude prices going up because of the summer driving season? I mean, typically they would, But with all the tariffs and sanctions and OPEC and just everything going on, it's really hard to say. Like, this is not a typical year. 26 out of the last 30 years, oil prices and gas prices have risen in the spring and summer. The only time it hasn't risen is when we've entered a recession or a period of contraction in the economy in the spring and summer. So based on that, I would say that they will go up unless we go into a recession, because that's what's happened 26 out of the last 30 years. 1,124 tiles on your bathroom wall. Holy cow. Those must be little bitty tiles.
I don't have that many.
I know on my bathroom floor, my tiles are really big, so it won't take that long to count them.
Yeah, but what about the ones on your walls? You have any on your walls?
What do you think about the impact that demand side improvements can have? Are you talking, so demand side of energy, what improvements? Well, the United States is here's the thing with the United States. I don't know if you're from the United States or Canada, but a lot of people don't realize this. When we're talking about energy, the United States is using the same amount of energy as they were 20, 25 years ago. Maybe it might be 30 years ago. We're using the same amount of energy. We've added 40 million people, 40 million cars, and 20 million homes to our country in this period of time, and we're using the exact same amount of energy. That's because of energy efficient appliances. That's because of better fuel mileage in vehicles. That's because of, hybrids, EVs, all the things, construction technology. We've done so many things to improve energy efficiency in the United States that we're still using the same amount that we were using when we had 40 million less people. And the reason that's really impressive to me is because every living thing on this planet uses energy, especially people, right? They use more energy than anybody. So we've added 40 million people and we're still using the same amount of energy. I think that's impressive. So that's what we're doing from the demand side. It's there's multiple ways to drive down prices when we're talking about energy, but the best way, what everyone thinks we should always do, is produce more energy. What works even better is to conserve energy, reduce demand, reduce consumption. That works dramatically better than just increasing energy. So that's what we're doing from the demand side, right? A new refrigerator today, the amount of power it uses compared to what they used 30, 40 years ago is insane. They use so much less electricity, right? But that energy conservation, all that stuff we do, energy efficiency, that is across the board with everything. All the way from how we build buildings, insulation, appliances, how efficient they are, fuel mileage in cars and trucks, just anything at all that uses energy is more efficient than it used to be. So that's what we're doing on the demand side. And it's only going to get better, right? With battery technology and more renewable energy, it's only going to get better. Oop. Hi, Jason. Thank you, Kelly. What's going to be the impact on the environment and the economy for moving from green energy? We're not really going to move from green energy. There's obviously going to be less subsidies and things like that. But, green energy under the first Trump administration grew at a record pace. So don't get duped into believing that just because Donald Trump is in office, that renewable energy is going to stop. It's not. It's here to stay. It's going to continue to grow. It may not grow at the clip it would have with a Democrat in office, but it's still going to grow, and we're not going to be moving away from it. Hi, Tina.
Hello, Tina.
Zipping says increasing energy only increases supply and leads to more ways to profit from it. If we flood the market, the consumer gets a break, but the producer doesn't want to make a lot of money, so we export more. That's exactly right, 100%. Hi, Peter. PL says aircraft engines use 40% less fuel today. I didn't know that. I knew they were better, but I didn't know it was 40%.
You can probably make your announcement too when you're ready.
Which one?
Monday, tomorrow. You know.
Do you think Canada will turn off the electricity? No, it will not. They won't. I don't believe it for a second. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time on my YouTube channel. That's Mr. Global on YouTube. I will be interviewing the news girl. 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, interviewing the news girl on my YouTube channel. That's 3 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock Pacific, 1 o'clock Mountain. If you can't catch the live, it'll be posted on my page, so you can still go watch it, even if you don't catch it. It's going to be a 30-minute interview, so it's it's not going to be one of these hour or 2 hour long, things. It's going to be 30 minutes. So who is the news girl? The news girl is one of the largest independent journalists in the United States. She's got a long history, broadcast journalism. She's been in broadcast journalism for over 20 years. She used to be the host of what was it? Good Day San Diego or Wake Up San Diego? I don't know what, but I might want to write that down. Anyway, she's got millions of followers on social media, and she's independent now. And so she's really big on TikTok and on Substack. She has a YouTube channel. And the reason I'm interviewing her is because she does traditional news. She is very traditional. So when she is giving you the news, that's all you get. You don't get an opinion, right? You don't get what she thinks about something. You get the news is all you get from her, and that's why I like her. Another thing I really like about her is that she educates you while she's giving you the news. So if she's reporting on a story, say about a piece of legislation, she will walk you through all the steps that like the bill has to go through for it to become reality. And she's really good at educating people on how different processes work, right? And so her name is The News Girl on TikTok. She's also on Substack. She's on YouTube. I'm sure she's on a lot of other applications. I think she's got 3.5 or so million followers on TikTok. Hundreds of thousands on Substack. She's got a lot of followers, and she's very well known. And that's why I watch her. One of the reasons I watch her is because every time she pops up on my phone, she doesn't say, major breaking news happening now. She doesn't say that. Yes, that's her name, Karma. Lisa Remillard.
I like her too.
And I unfollowed Aaron Parnas. I got sick and tired of hearing major breaking news 15 times a day. And I also got tired of his, obvious bias. So I don't like bias in a news person. It took me all of 24 hours to maybe 48 hours to unfollow Aaron Parnas. I cannot listen to that shit. I can't.
I don't mind him, but he's not like he just reads the news.
Yeah, he's not a journalist. He reads what the, and that's another thing that bothers me. He talks about being this independent journalist and how, you know, mainstream media is dead. What he's reading you, he's literally reading off the fucking mainstream media. He's not a journalist. He's just a fucking reporter. He's just, I can read the mainstream media. I don't need him to tell me what they're saying. I know what they're saying.
Good, then you can read it to me. I'm just messing with you. Yeah, I know why you don't follow him. I know exactly why.
It's really like every video, major breaking news. Like it's not major breaking news. Your opinion on some dumb shit that happened in Washington, D.C. is not major breaking news. But he gets a lot of views that way, and he's gotten a lot of followers that way, and that's great. It's just not for me. I don't want to hear it. I don't care. I want to hear the news. It's the same reason I don't follow Midas Touch. I don't. I have no interest.
I follow Midas Touch.
I don't.
I know that they make mistakes, but so do all, you know. But they should retract when they do. And that was the thing that got me.
I don't like bias in my news. I don't like it from the right. I'm not going to like it from the left.
No, I get it. I do.
You'll get a lot more hits on YouTube if you have a headline ending in "It's over" with a bug-eyed expression on the thumbnail. I probably would.
Yes, you probably would.
Tom says, we get it. You're not a Democrat or a liberal. Even if I was a Democrat, even if I was a liberal, I would not listen to that. I can't. With all that being said, I get enough people's opinions every day. I don't want to hear them from my news people as well. My whole day is reading people's opinions, so maybe that has something to do with it.
You know why I followed you, right?
No.
Yes, you do.
Because of my opinions?
Yeah, because you're not biased, right?
Well, people ask me for my opinions, and I don't claim to be a news person.
Right. And you're also not just one party is bad type of thing.
If I ever become a news person, you won't hear my opinion anymore. You'll hear the news. But I don't plan on becoming a news person. And it's true, everyone has bias, right? Everyone has bias. But the news girl is really good at filtering whatever bias she has out. She's constantly accused of being left-leaning, right-leaning, you know. She's very good at just sticking to the facts, you know. $23 more pieces of corn to meet my goal. Do I think Trump will invade Canada? I don't.
I don't think so either.
That would be crazy.
But then again, we know he is.
I followed Global because he couldn't stop laughing at Doxy's cement mixer story. That's true. Yeah, keep in mind, I've seen Doxy, and picturing her in a cement truck. That was funny.
And Joe Boo said he felt it was his duty since he asked her to tell the story, and you got a 24-hour ban. Yes.
Yeah.
I remember when you got that. That's when you made your 2.0 the first time.
It is?
Yes.
Oh, the old live band, huh? So we were in the back of this cement truck. Shh. Quiet, Doxy.
It was a great story.
I want to know what you did in a cement truck. Or any other kind of truck. Thank you all for the gifts. 13 away from my goal. And what's the deal with so many lawyers becoming journalists? What is that about? Did you know that?
I don't know what that's about.
A lot of lawyers are journalists. I mean, I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing. I just, there must be a lot of money in that if you're giving up a career in law to do that. Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
That made the weirdest whisper.
What did?
The reaching your goal. It said something, but it was like, and it was kind of like what you do to Kelly whenever her, she says she's worried about the TV turning on. Hey, Kel. It was like that.
I think that was just Nadia.
She's not up here, so it wasn't.
No,
Nadia.
but she's the one that gifted me to hit the goal. She was. So it kind of sounded like Nadia. What's the deal with so many comedians becoming podcasters with political leanings? I don't know. I don't know what the deal with that is. Attorneys who become journalists were either very successful attorneys who no longer need to work or very poor attorneys who couldn't find work. Yeah, that makes sense. Gerard, thank you so much for the t-shirt order. I just got a notification. Thank you, man. Is that a different Joe?
You see a Joe?
Yeah, there's a Joe in here, but it's not the Joe we're thinking of. At first, I just assumed it was Joe that we know, but it's a different Joe.
Yeah, I see it now. That's not our Joe. No.
Hello, Mark. You don't have to worry about coming back.
Did you kick Mark?
No. I didn't kick Mark.
Was he on here or YouTube?
No, I kicked Jim.
Why'd you kick Jim?
Why not?
What did
Well, he said it was boring. If it's boring, I don't want him coming back. I wouldn't want him to be bored anymore.
This is what you do to people in mine. So now I'm gonna have to go to his account
Why?
because then he'll come in mine.
Then you can block him in yours. See,
Alright.
this is real easy. This isn't complicated.
So if you block someone in mine and they come in and say, Jilly, why did you block me? Can I just block them on here too?
Yeah.
I want to.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
What are you talking about?
No, I'm just saying. Like you'll block them on yours, and then they'll come in here and say, "Why'd you block me?" And I'll be like, "It wasn't me. It was Mr. Global that blocked you." I'm not even gonna say that to him no more. I'm just gonna block him on here. Joe Booty says I might have done that a time or two.
JB wants to know, is this the guy that said oil was going to skyrocket under Trump? You know, you can make up shit about Donald Trump, but you're not going to make up shit about me. I spent the last year telling people that work in the oil and gas industry to get ready to find another job because he was going to tank it. The complete opposite of whatever you're saying. So you can make up all the stupid shit about your guy that you want. You're not going to make up shit about me. That's not a thing.
I got rid of him.
No, I didn't say that. I've never said that.
I got rid of him.
Jill stepping it up a notch. Maybe there's so many lawyers have become journalists because so many of our politicians just break the law every day, and we need someone to explain to us what the hell they're doing. Maybe that's why so many lawyers have become journalists. Because our government is run by a bunch of criminal politicians. It's starting to make sense now.
I'm sorry, Tina. There will be more. Don't worry. They're everywhere. I just couldn't let him, have an extra block than I had.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you very much. Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you, Feisty. So yeah, that's why we need lawyers to be our journalists now, because all of our damn politicians are criminals.
Yeah, that's about it.
So Smarty Pants says, as a lifelong oil worker and Smarty Pants, I hope the price of oil doesn't tank nor skyrocket. Maybe it's just a little higher and stay there. I'm with you 100%. The only thing I've ever wanted is a stable commodities market for what we do. A lot of people think that I promote higher oil prices because they think that somehow that makes me more money. It doesn't. Higher oil prices doesn't make me $1. Natural gas prices, that's a different story. Thank you, Jobu. Do I think now that the carbon tax is gone in Canada, our gas prices will come down? You know, there's a lot of differing opinions on this. And what I will say is that they should, but that doesn't mean that they will. They should come down, but I'm not going to tell you they will. I'll just tell you they should. And if they don't come down, it's because the retailers are making up the difference.
Thank you, Joe Boo.
They've gotten you used to paying a certain amount for gas, and if the retailers can make an extra 17 cents a gallon, there's a chance they will, right? So they should. Doesn't mean they will. Do I ever get backlash from my fellow oil friends? No. Is LNG exports going to be a problem in the future? Absolutely. LNG exports are going to be a problem in the future. It's going to be a problem for what people in this country pay for their utility bills. We're already seeing it. So, and understand something. With what we currently have planned, we're going to triple the amount of natural gas that we export out of the United States. We're going to triple that.
That was my son. He was yelling.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he didn't know I was in here. So he's yelling, coming in the house, hello.
And that's the thing. We're going to be exporting. See, exporting natural gas is not like exporting oil because the price differentials aren't that great in oil, right? So when we export oil, to other countries around the world, we're basically selling it at a market price. The problem with exporting natural gas, though, is that we're exporting a product because, like in Europe, natural gas is 3 times more expensive than it is in the United States. More than 3 times more expensive. So the higher prices that exist in other countries are only going to cause, the export of natural gas to continue to increase in the United States at the detriment of our country because we're going to be paying a lot more. If a company can sell gas for $14 in Europe as opposed to $4 in the United States, they're going to sell it for $14. So there's nothing preventing those exports of getting out of control to the point where eventually maybe we're paying $14 for it. And if it got to that point, then they would sell it here and not export it. But when you calculate in the cost for LNG, cost to produce and ship and all of that, if natural gas prices, if they get to like $8 or $9 in the United States, then they can do just as well selling it in the United States. But then we're stuck at $8 or $9 natural gas for a long period of time, and that's when people are paying $1,500 a month for their freaking electricity bills. And that's what we're looking at. That's what's coming. And I feel like I'm the only person talking about it. Donald Trump is not about to tell you that his push for exporting as much gas as we possibly can, he's not going to tell you that that's going to double or triple your utility bill, but it is. I'm telling you it is because it is. And we already see it happening. And I've been talking about it for a long time. And this winter, I had people messaging me every day, sending me photos and copies of their bills. People getting $1,200, $1,400 utility bills, and they're wanting to know why. And I'm like, well, because we're shipping our resources overseas. There's nothing inherently wrong with shipping our resources overseas, the ones we don't need. But when it causes us to pay significantly more, that's a problem, right? So a lot of companies are going to make hundreds of billions of dollars, and we're going to be the ones paying for it. We're going to be the ones paying for it, and that's why I talk about that so much. And it's 1,000% going to happen. There is not any chance this is not going to happen. If I had to make one prediction of my entire life that I had to stick with, of all the predictions I've ever made regarding oil prices, gas prices, all the predictions I make, if I had to make one that I had to keep forever, and it's the only one I could ever make, it's the one I'm making about natural gas and natural gas prices and your utility bills. Because that is a lock. That's a lock, 100%. And by the time we're done, we're going to be exporting over 12 trillion cubic feet of natural gas every year out of this country. And to put that in perspective, how much natural gas is 12 trillion cubic feet? If you remember all the talk about Gaza and all the natural gas they had and how they had, we're going to export 12 times the amount of natural gas that exists in the Levant Basin in Gaza every single year out of the United States. Oh, and by the way, Canada's going to do it too. They're a little bit behind us, but they're going to do it too. So if you're in Canada, you're not protected from this. Canada's going to do it too. How many more ships? A lot of ships. I can't even tell you how many more ships. I really can't. Let me try this. Is that better? The YouTube, the folks on YouTube were saying my audio was messing up, which happens quite a bit on YouTube. Oh, it's not my audio, it's theirs? Okay.
Yeah, sometimes you have to refresh the screen because sometimes it'll even shut it down and say, "Oops, there was an issue." So
I
they're having issues. Reset.
I assumed it was on my side.
Well, yeah, because you didn't know.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Wolf. Wolf sent me a pot of gold. I've never seen a pot of gold before. Is that a shamrock? Huh?
I haven't either. That was pretty cool. Must be for St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you, Wolf. Thank you so much. Joe Boo never sent me a pot of gold.
Joe Boo never sent me.
Yeah, and what's going on with natural gas in this country? We are already consuming more natural gas than we're producing. Between what we consume and what we export, and that means the inventories are now being drawn down. We had a 62 billion cubic foot inventory draw last week during really mild weather. That's a terrible sign, because how natural gas works in the United States is during the mild months and during the summer months, that's when you build up your stockpile or your inventory for wintertime, right? So that's how the market works. You burn through a lot of your natural gas in the winter for home heating, and you build up inventory throughout the spring and summer, right? You build up stockpiles for the following winter. This summer, the stockpiles are going to be extremely low buildup, right? So we're not going to build up enough. We're going to have a really hot summer. That's going to reduce the amount of stockpiles we can increase. We're exporting record amounts of natural gas, and we're coming to a place where if we don't increase natural gas production rapidly in the United States, we're going to have a huge spike in natural gas prices. And what we're seeing right now isn't anything close to what we're going to see. I can tell you that right now. It's going to be a lot worse.
So if you're having problems, I see a few people are having problems on here. If you're having problems, clear your cache or stop the app and come back. That should fix it. And don't forget to update, because there is an update and some people might not have done it.
Will the new LNG shipment facility on the west coast of British Columbia affect markets at all? Many thanks, much respect. Canada's not at a place yet to where they're exporting so much LNG that it's affecting their market negatively. So Canada is still fine right now. But if they continue building LNG export terminals, and they do plan to do that, they could get to a point. I don't think they're going to get to a point as bad as the United States. It's going to get pretty bad in the United States. That's what I'm telling you. It's going to get pretty bad. If we get to that number that they plan to get to with exports, it's going to get bad. And we may not get to that number. If we don't get to that number, it's because of how bad it is. So does Canada have ice-free harbors in the West? That's a great question. I honestly don't know. They were ice-free when I was there, but I wasn't there in the wintertime. I would bet that they do, though, because that's a moderate climate on the west coast of Canada. That's not a super cold climate when you get close to the coast. So I would bet that they absolutely have ice-free harbors, because it's pretty temperament. Like, it doesn't get super, super cold on the west coast of Canada. This shirt, you can get this shirt and any of my other Mr. Global shirts on my bio. There's a link in my bio to a Shopify store. That's where you can get these shirts. And it's funny because there's some pretty cold waters off the west coast, but I think the way the what do they call it? Thank you so much.
2 clovers this time.
Clovers.
Yes.
Okay. Now I gotta find clovers. The shamrocks?
I guess so.
Okay. We got a new goal. Shamrocks. Smarty Pants says building a pipeline to Hudson Bay, which is on the table. Which is a north central coast, would require icebreaker part of the year. And I saw someone wondering why I repeat comments It's because I'm streaming on two platforms. So if someone says something on YouTube, I will often read it so that people on TikTok can hear that or see, because since they can't see that person's comments, I'll sometimes read them. Thank you, Vicky. I've got that logo on a T-shirt as well. Who owns the majority of the natural gas under Lake Erie? That would be, if you're talking about south of the border, that would be federal land. That would be United States federal land. Hi, Aunt Becca. What is the connection between oil prices and gas? Well, gasoline is derived from oil. It's made out of oil. So if oil is more expensive, then gas is more expensive. Yeah. It's like the raw materials. You use wood to build a house, you use oil to make gasoline, right? Not a dumb question. I am in Oklahoma, Skins. What percentage of gas comes from a 42-gallon barrel of oil? It depends on the type of oil, but typically 19 or 20 gallons, depending on the type of oil. If it's a light sweet crude, it'll actually make a little bit more gas than a heavy sour crude. And to go ahead and answer your next question, which you've not asked yet, it's 13 or 14 gallons of diesel.
And Florida is not running out of gas.
Florida is not out of gas. That's not a thing. I'm still getting messages like, I'm getting 3 or 4 messages every hour. What's going on in Florida? I'm like, you have got to be fucking kidding me.
Yes, Jobu, erase that. Just, erase it.
I was under the impression the United States would be in control of both sides. I don't think they would. Borders are applicable over water too, right? And I don't think the United States would have control over those natural resources that are actually north of the border that are in Canada. If that's the case, I would be surprised. But that doesn't mean it's not the case. That wouldn't make a lot of sense to me. But it could be the case, but I don't think it is.
Yes, Nadia, they're full of shit, but not running out of gas.
And since we're talking about a lake and not, an ocean or a coastline, since we're talking about a lake, I don't know if, the rules and standards that we use are different with a lake. I would think they would be different. That's an interesting question. How thick is the border? It's 1 inch. It's 1 inch. You cross this line, you're in Canada. or the United States, depending on what direction you're going. I really don't know. They usually have a type of zone along the borders, you know. They usually have some type of zone on each side of the border. They do on the Mexican border. I don't know about the Canadian border. Yes, we drew that line with a ruler. So, Airborne brings up a good point. He says lakes fall under riparian water rights. If you don't know what riparian water rights are, that's something that's often used in real estate, right? So lakes have riparian water rights. That I know is true. Riparian water rights is a system for allocating water among those who possess land along its path. It has origins in English. I'm looking up for. Under the riparian principle, all landowners whose properties adjoin a body of water have a right to make reasonable use. Okay, that'll be the same as minerals as well. So anywhere on Lake Erie where Canadian land touches Lake Erie, then Canada would have a right to those minerals because that would be federal land. Or I don't think they call it federal land in Canada. I think they call it provincial land or something like that. But it would be just like the federal land in the United States. So they would have the rights to any of that water and natural resources that their land touches, basically, right? Unless, of course, there's crown land. Okay, crown land. That's right. I've heard that before. Unless there's some other agreement in place, which I really doubt there is. Shut Up says the lakes are federal. Those lakes definitely are. Not all the lakes in the United States are federal, but the Great Lakes definitely are. All right, Jill, it's 4:00.
It is.
4:00 means it's time to go. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Tomorrow, 2:00 p.m. Central Standard Time, I interview the news girl on my YouTube channel. That's Mr. Global on YouTube. 2:00 Central Standard Time. If you don't get to watch it live, you can catch it. It'll be posted up on my YouTube page. If you want one of the mini t-shirts I have, there's a link in my bio on my TikTok page. You can go click that Shopify link and get those there, or you can get them on my YouTube store. Thank you guys so much for all the gifts. Jill, you have anything?
Thank you, everyone, for the gifts, and have a great Sunday.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.